You said?
Yes.
Yes, so he will introduce
No, he's.
Thank you very much. As you all may know, I am Honorable Saikouba Jarjou, the former National Assembly member of Busumbala, but now the Deputy Head of Mission at the Gambia Embassy in Nouakchott, Mauritania. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Briefly, can you shed light on the current migration situation in Mauritania, particularly in relation to the 27 Gambian nationals that were returned on the circumstances they are returned, and then how is your office engaging to ensure that the rights and welfare have been addressed?
Thank you very much. I think only this question can take the whole briefing. First of all, I want to thank profoundly. I want to thank the Head of State, His Excellency President Adama Barrow, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Mamadou Tangara, and then to the Director of Gambia Immigration Department, the Red Cross, Ministry of Interior, and all other stakeholders that are always constantly working and monitoring the affairs of Gambians within the borders and outside the borders. You asked a question which has so many factors, but first of all, let me give you a rundown of Gambians in Mauritania. Mauritania, we all know, Mauritania is not part of ECOWAS, but it's a country that has a long relationship with Gambia. So there were a lot of Mauritanians here, and still there are a lot of Mauritanians here. And again, likewise, we have a lot of Gambians in Mauritania. We have almost, according to our record, which is not conclusive, almost 10,000 Gambians in Mauritania. And then Gambians in Mauritania are divided into three categories. One, we have the Talibes, because Mauritania is an Islamic state, Islamic education is free. So most of our young people who have the passion to learn Quran go to Mauritania. They are the greater part of the Gambians there. So we have the Talibes. We have resident migrants. We have those that went to Mauritania because the country is developing economically. Those want to stay and then make a living in Mauritania. They are staying there alone, or some are staying there with their families. We have another category which is difficult to manage, and there are very few, that are the transit illegal migrants, irregular migrants. Those that come to Mauritania purposely to use Mauritania as a transit to Europe, which is happening. Okay, our relationship with Mauritania is cordial, still cordial. There is no problem. And this is what is happening now is not affecting only Gambia. It's affecting all nationals that are residing in Mauritania. It's just like it came by surprise, but they are doing the right thing. Because every country wants to safeguard the security of your country. So first, you need to regularize the population of immigrants in your country. At first, Mauritania will allow citizens from the Gambia with no documents, you enter and stay. There are Gambians in Mauritania that are staying over 30 years without even an ID card to indicate that they are Gambians. We accept them, Mauritania accept them. But all of a sudden things changes as the world is changing. As even the Gambia is also changing. They change their immigration law. They want to regularize every migrants in Mauritania. So how do you do that? First, you must identify your nationality. So to identify your nationality, talking about Gambia, we need to have an ID card, a biometric ECOWAS ID card, or you need to have a passport. So this is how we are. So when the issue came, we came to realize that 90% of these 10,000 that I'm talking about are undocumented. They don't have Gambian documents. So they fear two things. Because Mauritania is ready. Anyone who is not regularized, doesn't have their permit to stay, they will send you out. And for Gambians to have their permit, they must be a Gambian force. They must have Gambian documents. So we did an assessment and then talk to them and see what we can do. We wrote to Banjul to explain the scenario that this is happening. Now, most of the people, the 90%, the 10,000, 60% of them to 70% are Talibis. So these people fear that when they come to Gambia to get their documents, they might not have the chance to go back, and they don't want to cut their education. Some are there that are contractors. They have contracts with people. They feel that when they come to Gambia, they will lose their contracts. So they came to the embassy to appeal. What can they do? To appeal to the government to assist them. So we had two options. The first option is to repatriate them, to bring them voluntarily, government facilitate, to bring them, get their documents and go back. But that might take time. So they came back again and say, it might be difficult because when I go back, possibly my family will not allow me to come, or I might not have the finances that it entails to get my documents quickly to go back. So the time I'm going to stay in the Gambia, I'm going to lose my education, I'm going to lose the job that I'm doing, then that's it. So now we still want the government to help. Then we write back to the government again. So when we wrote to the government, then this issue of whether the immigration can go. When we told them that's the best. Because at first we used to renew their passport in the Gambia, but it takes time. So when we had the suggestion from the government that they are going to send immigrations to come and enroll and give them, try to help them with ID card quickly, that's what's wonderful. So that's how we had the immigrations there. So these people, as the immigrations are on, the Mauritanians are ready. This 27, I have 27 that I came with. I have 15 that are already under custody with the Mauritanian authorities. I have 150 that I have on my list in my office that wants to come back to the Gambia. So these 27 happens to be people that were arrested. They were arrested at their workplaces, on the street, at the hospitals, because they don't have the document. So when they are arrested, they deport them. They must go out. So the possibility to deport them quickly takes time. So we appeal to them through the government that why not you allow them to go back voluntarily? And then we had this condition, they said, with Senegal, that if we are to bring them, if they are to leave them, that means we need to accompany them. So that's how we have this 27. So there are Gambians that are already, as I'm talking to you, that are even calling me right now that they have the intention to come back. They are even calling me right now, they are asking for the immigrations, whether immigrations are there to issue them ID card. So coming to the embassy's activity to help, we do what we call consular activities. We have consular office, we have a consular, which all the embassy staff, I was a consular before becoming a national assembly, before becoming the deputy head of mission. So we have this package, and every year government send a package to what we say welfare of Gambians. An amount of money is sent for welfare of Gambians. So we are on them 24 hours, 7 days. Any Gambian who has a problem, that's how we are able to detect these people, the 27 under the custody of Mauritanians. Because if the embassy was not proactive in our activities, we might not know. Because when they are arrested by Mauritania don't inform us. But we are always active to know the welfare of our citizens, to know what conditions they are, wherever they are. If there is any possibility for us to intervene, we do intervene. So we do intervene if it is not a criminal offense. Because these people don't commit any criminal offense, it's just like immigration fault. They are defaulted immigration law, so we appeal for them to allow us to come with them. So we came with them. So for the embassy, we are constantly on them, and there's a very close relationship between the Gambian community and the embassy in Mauritania. So that tells you that we are always constantly on them. For the Taliban that are very vulnerable, because there are young ones, small ones. Some Taliban are in Mauritania that are as young as 6 years old. Their parents will take them. You know, in Gambia, a 6-year-old child cannot have a document. So they have affidavit for them. So this 6-year-old will go to Mauritania and then be there up to 18, 20 years. So he will go without a document. So it's always a problem. That's why the necessity for us to go there and enroll Gambians is necessary. But what brings all this is because the Mauritanians are changing their law. What they used to accept people to be in their country unaccounted, this time they said no. And we can all attest to that. There are a lot of social problems in Mauritania. Any problem that you're thinking about here, raiding, bank robbery, daylight, killing, theft, is happening in Mauritania. Most of them are done by immigrants. And most of those immigrants are undocumented. So that's why they said generally they are going to regularize every immigrant there. So, but that doesn't have any impact on the relationship between Mauritania and Gambia. There are nationals. Gambian nationals are the least national arrested. Least. Still now when they arrest them, when we talk to them, they are Taliban, they are willing to release them, to give them another 3 months to go and regularize. So that shows that the relationship between Gambia and Mauritania is still intact, and they have also communicated that they don't have any problem with Gambians in Mauritania. What they want is, they want every immigrant in their country to be regularized. So that means if that's the case, we all have to comply and then regularize. How can they regularize? It's their own right to do. But the government intervenes and asks the question, how can we make it quickly and easier for our people to regularize is to give them Gambian documents. So that's the step that the government took to help them. So this 27 that I came with, some even were enrolled with the immigration for ID card, waiting for the ID card. On the way they are arrested. So So we have them. So why these 27 are arrested is because they don't have the required minimal requirement to get regularized in Mauritania. So thank you. If I answer the question.
Should this be a wake-up call for other Gambians in other countries to regularize their status?
Obviously, if it is if you say other countries, yes, it's a wake-up call. But in Mauritania, we are already awakened. We know that it's not going to be things as usual. We know that it's not going to be things as usual. We are even very happy when the raiding was happening. The team that came to Mauritania, we have immigration officer, and we have an OC, an inspector. I don't know his rank, OC Jallo. OC was very influential to talk to Gambians about the right of every citizen when to move out of the country. This is what Gambians lack. Gambians will just say, "Mange them, I'm going out," but you don't know that there are requirements before you leave your country. That causes all this problem. So there is nothing to blame outside, but to our own self, because we are ignorant on the requirement to move out, which I also want to urge the immigration to have it as a point. Yesterday we discussed with the border, the OC at Amdalai, to tell them if any Gambian comes, especially a young Gambian, we know that most of these youngs, their passion is to go to Europe. But anyone who comes and said, you ask, is this your first time to cross the border? He says yes. Please take him aside and give him counseling. Tell him what is first requirement. Don't allow them to go with laissez-passer. Laissez-passer, if Senegal allow them, Mauritania will not allow them. Anybody who pass, most of them, who pass Amdalai border or Keraib, know that they are going to Mauritania. So immigration should also have that as an officer, a welfare officer, a counseling officer at the border point. If anybody is asked the question, is this your first time to travel? Yes. Get them out, counsel them. Ask them the minimum requirement for a Gambian to travel outside the country. If the person doesn't meet the requirement, deny his exit. Don't allow him to go. Because when he goes, the problem is going back to the Gambia again. That's why we are all in this trouble. Thank you.